10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this Christmas Day afternoon. Chris, it's Christmas. I don't think we've ever done a show on Christmas, or we must have, but I don't remember.
Well,
6 years ago, maybe?
I don't know. We may have.
Doesn't the calendar repeat itself every 7 or 8 years or something like that? Dates? Same date?
I don't know. After 50 years old, then, a year is like 10 minutes, so it's all one big blend.
True.
Plus, you and I are in Florida, so it doesn't even feel like, quote,
It
Christmas.
doesn't feel like Christmas, yeah. No. I haven't gotten Christmas depression in the last 2 years since I've been here.
Well, because you have sunlight and vitamin D, and you have a new baby.
I was tanner in New York than since I moved to Florida, because now I'm afraid of the sun, because the sun, they say, is so strong down here, and my wife had skin cancer, and I had an almost skin cancer, and you died of skin cancer. You died. Yeah. You didn't die. You almost died of skin cancer.
Don't try to pull a Sean Ray.
I was trying to, embellish.
Don't try to kill me like Sean Ray has already accused you of killing someone.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we have plenty to talk about.
So, no, the sun is stronger in Florida. And when you're, I was coming down to Florida and someone said, "Oh, you're going down there? This just ruins the Christmas season." I'm like, do you really enjoy dealing with the snow? Really?
It's so depressing to me to be stuck in like a house when it's. I don't know what the weather is like up there now, but I'm saying even in past, it's cute and everything like that. The snow, but then it's like, well, all right, now I got to get in the car. I got to clean the car off. I got to shovel the driveway because I got to go to my grandmother's house, and then we're going to be stuck in their house with the snow and everything like that. And I got to worry about coming home because the snow is out there and the car's going to get stuck. And who the hell wants to deal with that? Not me anymore. I must be old, right?
You are old. We are old. But go ahead.
I went to see my dad today.
Yes. Because
my daughter was born, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So we bring my newborn daughter, and my father's, of course, like, how come no one told me anything? 15 times he asked me that. I said, Dad, we've been telling you for the last 9 months. I said, you just don't remember. And I said, I mentioned, something about my sister, and she lives in Connecticut. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, we're in Florida. He's like, Florida? How did we get down here? I said,
I know you say that.
We moved down here. So he's like, I said, is that a problem? He goes, no, I'm glad. He goes, I don't know how you got me down here. He goes, but I'd rather be in Florida, in the winter. I said, oh, good, I'm glad. So I had to explain to my dad the whole baby thing, and that she was born 2 days ago. He's like, what's wrong with her nose? I said, Dad, the baby was born 2 days ago. The head is smushy still. He doesn't know. He's close. I think he's starting to fake things. Like he's pretending that he remembers things. The only thing that he does remember that I can verify is he knows my son's name. He knows Logan. I don't know how he remembers that name.
Funny? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Which is weird because he doesn't really remember anything new, only old. So Wednesday we went and to the baby doctor. Amanda has a girl she used to, I guess, was her gymnastics coach when she was a little girl, who became a midwife. They deliver babies.
Yeah.
And she delivered our baby. So we went to her on Wednesday, and I guess what they do is they stick their finger in there and they can strip the membranes around the cervix so that it's supposed to initiate labor faster. Because our due date was Friday, but they wanted her to deliver. They were going to induce her on Thursday. That was or Friday they would have induced her because they don't let you go past the due date if you're over certain age, and she had gestational diabetes, so that was the deal. So I wanted the 12/21 birthday. I thought it's cool, and I never forget it, right? So
you mentioned that on the radio show last week.
Yeah, so we go in Wednesday, and she strips the membranes. Now, here's the risk. The risk is when they do that, sometimes they go into labor like an hour or two later. So I'm like thinking, oh, man. All right, so we go back to the house. We go back to work, and I'm asking her every 15 minutes, how do you feel? And she's like, would you shut up already? I'm fine. I'll tell you if there's something wrong, if we have to go to the hospital. Believe me. But, I'm like a nervous wreck now. I'm like, you're fine. Because I don't know what because I know I should be asking her because I wanted her to know I'm concerned, but at the same time, I don't want to be annoying, So
And
Nothing.
the 2-year-old doing what in this time? What's the 2-year-old up to?
Well, he's with grandma still. Grandma
Okay.
watches him during the day because we're at work. We go back to work and we start working. She's packing orders because she wants to get she wants everything done, and so that if once the baby comes, she doesn't have to worry about any of this stuff for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So nothing happens. We're getting ready for bed. I'm like, remember, because I'm sleeping downstairs. She's up there with Logan, and we haven't slept in the same bed together for God knows how long. God, you get married and you can't even sleep in the same bed because you got a kid up there and you got to go down here. It's a whole nightmare. So I'm like, look, call me. You call me on the cell phone because she's upstairs now. I said, if anything goes, if any signs of labor, she goes, believe me, you'll know. So nothing happens. So that morning we have to go to the hospital at 7:30. So we leave at 7 whenever we get there. And they hook her up. Beautiful rooms in this Cape Coral hospital. I mean, they have these little birth suites. And it was different in New York. New York, they bring you like into a regular room, like it's almost like an operating room or something like that.
Maine has it's like a hotel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. They were birth suites. And in the suite, that's where you deliver. If you want to deliver in the bathtub, and then you could do it in the bathtub. But, so she's in the room. They hook her up to the IV, and, they start putting what's called Pitocin in there, which is oxytocin, which starts causing the uterus to go into, have contractions, and they up the dose every hour or so. And I guess after about 4 hours of her being on this Pitocin, she's starting to get like labor pain. Now the problem is, it could make your uterus contract and give you contractions, but if your cervix doesn't open up, dilate essentially, you're screwed. You're there for God knows how. You could be there for 24 hours in labor with labor pains and nothing's happening. And eventually, if it doesn't open up, they got to give you a C-section, and she doesn't want that, obviously.
Yeah.
So they're giving her the Pitocin, whatever, and her cervix is not really getting any bigger. It's like 1 centimeter bigger. It's at a 2 when it should be at a 10 to deliver. So her midwife Teresa comes in and says, "Hey, I think I should rupture your water, break your water, for you. A lot of times it happens on your own. The water is the sac the baby's in." And what they do is they actually shove like a stick up there, and they actually they rupture the sac, and fluid starts coming out little by little, draining out of there. And the baby's fine. The baby doesn't need this water sac, supposedly, even though you would think it does, but it doesn't. But supposedly that could stimulate the cervix to start dilating, because then the body thinks it's going to deliver soon. So she does this. And probably another couple hours later. Now, luckily, they have a good cafeteria, because I must have eaten 40 times and taken a dump about 40 times. I was a nervous wreck. And luckily, so I come up, and she's dilated to about 6 centimeters. But it's, she's getting some heavy contractions now. So at this point, I'm like, you better call down the anesthesiology team to come down here and give you this epidural you want. Because she doesn't want it, because the pain, it's very painful. She doesn't want any, she wants the epidural. So they come in eventually, and they give her this epidural. It takes them like an hour to get there. I don't know what the freak they're doing for so long. There's like 18 people delivering at the same time. They come in, and they lean her over. They sit her up. They're like, look, she's like, when they put you in this position, sometimes this could actually also get labor going. So we're like, all right, everyone's got their own little tricks. You know what I mean? So you're going to sit with your legs crossed, and she's putting trying to get the thing in her spinal column, essentially, to numb her up. So she's in vicious, like her contractions are like, it's like nonstop at this point, and she's in a lot of pain. And it's all back labor, so she's getting all pains in her back, basically. It's like like 10 out of 10 she's telling me pain. And Amanda's the kind of person that, like, if she's helping me clean my snake tubs and she gets bit, I won't know. I'll look over and I'll just see blood running down her like hands. I'm like, what happened? I just got bit. If I get bit by like the smallest of snakes, I scream because I go nuts. Now, I don't think I'm a hypochondriac. I think I'm just hypersensitive. I don't know what it is. So for her to be complaining now that she's in agony, it's like, it must be bad pain. So they finally get this epidural in her and numb her up. Now they got her laid out. They're like, all right, she's going to probably, now that she's out of pain, there's a little fentanyl in here too. She's going to relax and get some sleep probably. And then, in a couple, 4 or 5 hours, she'll probably, hopefully give birth. I'm like, all right, I got some time. Where am I going to go? I'm going down to the cafeteria to get some food, right? So I go down there, I get food, I come back, and she's like, I feel like almost like, I don't know. And at this point, they haven't really checked to see how dilated her cervix is. I'm like saying I've been saying to the nurse every half hour, because I'm in pain in the ass. You think you should check how dilated she is? She's like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. They give me one of those lines. So my wife's complaining now. Amanda's complaining about the fact that she's got pressure down there. They're like, oh, that's normal. I'm like, why don't you just see how dilated she is? Out of curiosity. So the nurse goes down there and she's like, you're 10 centimeters and the baby's head is ready to come out.
Uh-huh.
So now they got to get the midwife, Teresa, the girl who's supposed to deliver the baby, back here because she's next door, doing whatever she's doing, seeing patients. So now my wife's getting nervous. I don't realize that it's happening that quickly. So I don't know how this girl gets back here so fast. She gets back in 5 minutes, and she's like, and I'm on my computer at this point. I'm thinking, all right, we got some time, right? They got to prep. I don't know what they do. How do they prep for surgery? I'm thinking they got to clean things up and get a sterile field. No. That's not. They don't do that with babies. We're basically in a hotel room bed, essentially, And she's like, all right, get your ass over here. You're going to deliver this thing. I'm like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? She's like, you're going to do it. I'm just going to supervise. I said, you couldn't prepare. Why didn't you tell me this morning so I could have mentally prepared, So I got to get the gloves on.
Filmed it. You could have filmed it.
I wanted to film. She's like, well, you can't film this in here. There was like a Nazi nurse in there. She wouldn't let me do it. So she's like, you're going to deliver the baby. I said, I don't know what that means. She's like, you're going to pull the baby out and do whatever you got to do. I said, look, I've delivered hamsters. I've helped deliver cats. I don't want to deliver my own baby. It's like you don't want to operate on yourself. It's one of those same things. She's like, no, you can do it. So I get the gloves on, and I mean, literally 3 pushes, and this baby's head's out. Now I'm nervous because if I drop this baby, because already Amanda's given her he's very clumsy, she's saying, as she's delivering the baby. She's telling the midwife, he's very clumsy. I don't know if he should be doing it. So now she's got no faith in me. Now I'm getting nervous because I'm like, if I drop this baby, I'm going to hear about this for the next 18 years of this kid's life.
Where's your cell phone in the meantime?
They took it away from me because they were snapping pictures.
They probably
they took it away from me. So I don't have the cell phone. So now I'm nervous because I got gloves on, and the baby, is going to be very slippery, of course. And I'm like, look, I tell the midwife, Teresa, you got to get down on your hand, get underneath me just in case. I said, I'm not letting go, but who knows what's going to, maybe the baby will flip, fidget itself or something like that. If I drop this baby, I'm done, I said. I was nervous. Not that I couldn't do it, but I was nervous because it was mine. If it was someone else's, I probably wouldn't.
I was just going to say, you could deliver like a stranger's baby, but
absolutely. So the baby comes out. It's unbelievable. I watched the other one, but I didn't. This one I actually pulled it out. Type of thing. And I handed it off like a football. You know how you do a handoff like with a running back. I handed it off, but I tucked it so to make sure that it wouldn't fall. I handed it off to Teresa. She took it and put some towels over it and put it right onto Amanda's chest. The new thing they do is skin to skin immediately.
Yeah. It's exhilarating.
It's crazy. So she puts it on there. Now my son, we couldn't do any of this with because my son had swallowed or had what's called meconium in the fluid, because it means he pooped in the fluid or something like that, and they had to suction him. And so we couldn't do this with my son. But so she's got the baby on her chest now. Now I think I'm done. I'm ready to take my gloves off, right? She's like, no, you're not done. I said, what else is there to do? I'm not pulling the placenta out. I said, she's like, no, you got to cut the cord. I said, all right, I can handle that, right? How hard could it
be? They asked me to cut the cord. I almost passed out. You know why?
Why?
Because I got so confused. I thought they wanted me to circumcise the baby. They handed me the scissors, Dave, and I almost went white, and the doctor said, what's the big deal? What's the problem? And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And anyways.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I cut the cord. That's about. So you delivered the baby. I cut the cord.
So listen. So I got this. They give me the scissors. Now I just stopped the story. I forgot to also mention when they were doing the epidural, where they put this. It's like they take a needle that's the size of a nail, and they put it in your back. Basically, they're like, before they did, they're like, are you squeamish around needles? They're like, because I said, no, I have no problem around needles. They're like, look, we've seen big guys pass out, from needles. I said, trust me. Yeah. My wife can verify it. I have no problem with needles. I said I might be more experienced than you guys are. So anyway, so I get the scissor in my hand at this point. So I'm thinking, all right, I already delivered the baby. How hard could cutting the cord be, right? I've snapped cords of snake cords because boa constrictors are born alive. I've cut Persian kitten ones with my fingernails. I've snipped them. Yeah. How hard could this possibly be? I get the scissor. This
The
cord,
cover, right?
it's like a fucking piece of leather.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to cut. I'm like thinking,
Did they ask you if you wanted to keep it? They asked us if we wanted to keep it.
yeah, I didn't want to. I don't want to. Some people
because some-
powderize the.
Yeah, that's right.
they-
They're right, and I'm like, what do you mean keep it? They're like, well, some people like, what do they do with it?
They powderize the placenta. They dry it out. They have a service that does this for you. Of course, you have to pay for it. They dry it. They make it into a powder, and then they put it in capsules, and you can eat it. You swallow the capsules. Supposedly, the fucking hormones in there are good for you. Who the hell knows? I don't want any part of that. It's too much for me.
Yeah.
I've seen, cats will eat a couple placentas of the baby sometimes just for the hormonal aspect of what's in there. But I have a feeling, I said to them, I can't see how, I can see eating it, when it's, come fresh out of the womb. But once you're drying it out and everything, it's got to lose the potent hormones in there.
Just a little close to cannibalism.
Yes, too much. So that was crossing the line for me. So I finally cut this. It takes me wait. It felt like it took 20 minutes to cut this cord, and I'm thinking, I don't want to make a mistake,
Oh yeah, God.
because I'm being judged now. Everyone's watching. I'm on the hot seat now. So I cut the cord, and I pull I grab my camera from this woman, and I flip the video on. I do an immediate video because I had been videoing every 20 minutes and putting them up on Instagram and Facebook just so that people could keep apprised of what was going on, because I know people like to live vicariously through the crazy stuff that I go through in life. So I took a quick video of the baby, put it up. So everyone couldn't believe how fast I got it up. My wife couldn't believe how fast. I said, "Well, we had a good. Luckily, the hospital had a good internet connection, so it wasn't too bad." And yeah, the baby was born, and she was healthy, and everything is good. She actually weighed more than Logan did, although Logan had a much bigger head.
Mm-hmm.
And
what?
The good thing about women, when you have a girl, is they only keep you 24 hours. With the boy, they circumcise, so they keep you. You have 3 boys. They keep you. Did you circumcise?
Yeah.
Okay, so they keep you
I
3 days.
I told you that. I thought they were asking me to circumcise.
Yeah, they do it the second day. They don't do it the first day. But so the girls are easy. So she stayed 24 hours. I actually went home because she felt comfortable enough to stay with the baby overnight. I went home because she was afraid Logan was going to, feel lost without one of the parents there, even though her mom was there. And I spent the night with Logan, and then I got up in the morning, went back, and she was released by 4 o'clock. And today we were at Carrabba's eating, so everything's good. Everything's good. So yeah, I mean, it was. I guess it felt like she got the crap beat out of her, but it really went pretty fast considering. I know India Paulino had a baby recently, and she was in labor for over 24 hours, before she had the kid.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, but she's younger too, so. We got lucky. Two kids. It was 2 pretty easy deliveries, and of course she's a little beat up down there, but she's a survivor. She's way tougher than I am, that's for sure. I'd be crying probably, and I'd probably be taking Percocets or something like that. She was like, I had to break down and take a Tylenol last night. It did help though. I said, "You're not pregnant anymore. You could take drugs now." I said.
Yeah.
So that was my my Christmas weekend surprise. Everyone's like, what did you get for Christmas? I said, I got the greatest gift of all. I got a brand new daughter.
Yeah,
I said so.
No, and you named her what? Just a
Aria Grace.
Aria. Very nice name.
Aria Grace Palumbo. So that was what we decided. But we're in the hospital, and they're bringing the birth certificate forms before the baby was born, and they're like, okay, if you could fill these out now. My wife's like, well, we're really not sure on the name yet. I said, we're sure. We're sure now.
Yeah, like it. Yeah,
I said, we're sure. Too late. We're not changing any names now. We're not going through. We're not getting into an argument over name. That's it.
It's the first month. You know how it's exhausting, right?
Yeah.
But the great take-home lesson is you have a healthy baby.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
When I had my kids and they came home, I just crossed my mind all the time is, what about the people who, something goes wrong and they get their babies, got health issues, right from the get-go. I mean, the amount of stress must just be insane.
Yeah, no, I was, if you have any religious, any kind of religious inklings inside of yourself at all whatsoever, that's when you become religious when you're going to die and when someone's born, because
Oh yeah, of course you do. It's automatic.
It's so stressful. Like the whole situation. It's like,
Yeah.
I just want a healthy baby.
Yeah. Well, you start to barter with God at the.
I'll give up a toe.
If this baby, if the baby can
I'll give up my left toe.
I will cut down on my work hours, and I will be a better person, and I will.
Yeah, I don't make promises I can't keep, though, unfortunately. Yeah. So I didn't mention anything about work, but I have to work more now to pay all the bills for the new baby.
Oh wait, just wait till they. Listen, I'm going to the beach tomorrow. I went over to get some snacks because the kids wanted snacks.
Right.
I said, really? Well, like what? They said it'd be fun to get like individual snacks of chips and $60 on just like snacks and not 60, $45
on Miami Beach.
Yeah, just stuff at the grocery store to to bring out for everyone.
Can't you get buy a condo like in Fort Lauderdale or something like that so that you can go there rather than have to stay in Miami Beach?
Right, and leave them?
No. Take the family to another different condo in another part of Florida that's nicer.
No, Miami's beautiful.
It's a shithole though. It's disgusting. You know that. It's it's cool if you're going out on the town. Trying to be
You've
hip.
been to my beach. You can't get a better beach than my.
Well, the beach is nice, but not the rest of it is terrible.
My area is like. I don't know.
It's all right.
Have you been out? Do you know where?
Yeah, I know where you are. You're right by. Yeah, I know. You're where all the rich people are over there. But it's still the Miami Beach Strip. It's there's vagrants there too. It's like the city.
I don't know where you.
Yeah. It's still it's not as bad as South Beach, but I mean it's only up the block from there. There's not like there's a high class of people there. I guarantee they would steal your laptop from there if you went into a store.
People will steal anything at all times, always.
Miami's bad. But it's a great place to have a condo, that's for sure, though. Chris has got a really nice condo. If you guys ever want to rent a really nice condo for the summer, contact Chris. It's a great deal because you got the kitchen. It's like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you can. What's my email? Aceto@RxMuscle.com.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah. Nothing from Sean Ray is disguised, though, please.
Speaking of Sean Ray, I saw that Sean Ray is thinking because I explained to everyone what's been going on between me and this vegan gains guy on YouTube. He put out some super crazy sensationalistic video stating that that blaming me for the death of Dallas MacArthur, saying that I might have sold him steroids that killed him. Which is ridiculous. Obviously, everyone knows ridiculous. I wrote it. I did a response, a nice response actually at first, and then he did a ridiculous response to that, and then I completely did a scathing response on him, and now he just did some other stupid thing, which was absolutely ridiculous too. Which I haven't thought about if I'm going to respond to, but it's getting me a lot of hits, so I might just do it. But it's funny because even Ron Harris, who obviously for some reason I don't know why he doesn't like us because all we do is kind of praise him. I feel bad for him that he's owed money, but he thinks I don't like him. He won't even say hello to me at shows anymore. He probably doesn't say hello to me probably because Bleckman told him if he talks to me he's not going to pay him or something like that. even though he's not paying him anyway. But Ron and I always had a good friendship. I don't know what happened. I guess it's when it's between paying your bills.
What happens is you just follow the money.
He's afraid. Well, he's afraid that he's not going to be able to pay his bills.
I mean, follow the money. Follow the money. It's, people are always going to be loyal to. I mean, he's.
Well, he'll be the first person to call me when he'll be the first person to call me when Bleckman stops paying him. Yeah.
Or doesn't get paid.
I'll be like, Dave, he's not paying me. Can I come on the show? Yeah,
no,
sure.
but I mean, of course he's going to.
I like Ron. That's the funny thing.
His check comes once every 4 weeks.
I actually like Ron Harris. I have nothing bad to say about the guy.
So, anyways,
so Ron wrote on his the forums there. If Vegan Gains had any real knowledge of who was in the Dallas camp as in his sponsor, he would have made it very different accusations. Singman. Oh wait, hold on. That's a different part. Hold on. Let me get the right thing. Oh, he wrote, Dave is obviously our rival. But even I have to say this Vegan Gains creep is out of line. So he's basically saying that, this guy's an idiot. So Sean Ray writes, sounds like he has a clear head to me. Ron, what would you dispute? He called Dave out and told the truth. Don't hang from Dave's nuts. That's what he writes to Ron.
Well,
then Sean Ray writes, Singerman was definitely a contributor. Dallas would still be with us if he had stayed away and out of Florida. How Aaron Singerman, by sponsoring this guy, giving him an ability to make a living for himself, could possibly be responsible, as well as myself, who doesn't even talk to. I don't even talk to Dallas. Not only don't I do his diet, but I don't even talk to the guy, aside from if I see him at a show, or get him on a TV show. How Aaron and I have been linked to the death of Dallas McCarver by Sean Ray is the greatest stretch of imagination that he's ever in his entire life accomplished.
What you need to know, and what people need to remember, is that when Dallas died, which was a sad day then, and really should be continuously a sad day all the way till today, but human nature is that people are forgetful and are impacted mostly closer to someone's death than the further away you get. And even if people don't like somebody, they're smart enough or cordial enough or good enough to show respect to somebody who, like in Dallas's case, may have died or did die. And Sean posted up on MD a picture of the Grim Reaper. That's a summation of Sean Ray.
Yeah.
That is a summation. And it was an I told you so.
Right.
It was an I told you so because, as you remember, I remember, it's out there. Sean picks little battles with all kinds of people. He had one with Dallas going on.
Yeah.
He had a battle with Dallas going on. They didn't see eye to eye, and that's being nice about it. And he just wanted to come in and chime in and say, "I told you so."
Right.
And that's essentially what he did. He posted it and posted a picture of the Grim Reaper. It's only you won't find it now because
he's the only person who showed no sympathy when Dallas died.
That's what he did. That is what he did. He posted a picture of the Grim Reaper and I told you so. He made it about his ego, about him being right.
Yep.
So anything that Sean Ray says going forward, people should remember that.
So listen to Ron. So Ron Harris's response to that is, no comment on that, but I suspect someone other than...
No comment is a comment.
Listen.
No,
Exactly.
Comment, you know what?
He meant no comment on the Singerman was definitely a contributor to the death. And Sean said Singerman was definitely a contributor. Dallas would still be with us if he had stayed away and out of Florida. So then Ron writes, no comment on that, but I suspect someone other than Dallas was footing the bill for that vast array of drugs. Not saying who, but I doubt Dallas was paying for all that gear, GH, Increlex, etc. It would have been thousands and thousands of dollars.
I thought you weren't commenting 2 minutes ago.
Right. So now they're blaming. Listen, then Noel Fuller says, "Yeah, he was fine before he got to Florida." They're blaming Aaron, like as if Aaron was buying suitcases full of drugs and saying, "Dallas, here, take these." Like Aaron wanted to fucking waste his own money on it.
He was blaming Chad before.
Yeah.
Sean the Grim Reaper was the friend of the Grim Reaper and was blaming previously Chad. And, both of them. Ron Harris better be careful because if Aaron should go out and hire a lawyer, which means Ron would have to hire a lawyer, and probably can't afford one, and Sean Ray probably can't afford one either.
He probably can.
You know what? You can for the first week.
Yeah.
Listen, anyone who's ever been in a legal battle of any sorts, a battle, knows that it's a game of chicken after a while. Who's going to fold first? Because you have to come to a settlement usually because one party can't afford the legal advice. So here's Ron saying, I'm not saying who. Well, you're not saying who, but it sounds like you know who.
Right.
Just because you're not saying who, it sounds like you're protecting someone who you think it is.
They're acting...
Even though you have no comment on it.
Right, but Noel Phillips says, he was fine before he got to Florida. In other words, he had no heart disease before he got to Florida. So he's been living in Florida for a year. He developed 90% occlusion of his descending coronary artery in the year. Only when he moved, his heart was completely clear. He moved to Florida, and then Aaron delivered a suitcase of drugs to him, and Chad got on board, and within a year, he had a blockage in his coronary artery. Are these people serious? Fucking morons. Vegan Gains is saying that he's trying to say, make it seem like that my supposition that there was obviously a family predisposition, which there actually was. Dallas had 2 other people in his family that died in their early 30s from heart attack, same thing as he did. Anyway, to say that that's not a contributing factor is ridiculous. And he gives if you watch his last video, he gives a stupid analogy that, of people who get cancer and something like that, and that's like saying that genetics caused them to get cancer. Well, yeah, when you die of cancer when you're 20, that's genetics.
Yeah.
So, it's, I know what the analogy he gave was, that would be like saying people who smoke cigarettes, just because they don't die, and some people do die, there's no it's genetics. Well, yeah, it is. That is. If you don't die after you smoke 4 packs a day, okay, it's because you have good genetics. And if you do die, okay, at 30 years old because of some cigarette smoking, it's because you have bad genetics. Fucking morons.
Nobody could outsmoke my grandmother, and she lived till she was 73.
Because it's genetics.
She smoked from 13 years old to 73, at least 2 packs a day. She did die of lung cancer, but I mean that's a long
right. It's a long time. But my point is that if you have a genetic predisposition for heart disease and you eat enormous amounts of food and you weigh 340 pounds and you take steroids, of course you're going to speed it up, okay, and you're going to get it at a younger age. But if you don't have a family history of heart disease and you take steroids and you weigh 340, you might not get heart disease, Dave, until you're 90. For all we know.
The point of. The greater point is this, really. The guy's got a YouTube station, Vegan Gains. I've never actually seen any of them.
Yeah, he's just a shitster. I know.
But the point of Dave is he has a vested interest to say, things to get a lot of, interest in hits and traffic and that type of thing. And obviously it works.
Yeah.
And in his case, it's really not a big deal because it's expected for him to say something sensational. Right. What's not expected is Sean Ray to come in, the Grim Reaper's friend, and say, "Oh yeah, of course, he's 100% credible, and Dave is the killer, and so is Aaron Singerman." And then Ron Harris to say, "Well, I'm not saying who, but Aaron, right. I wonder why he, it's irresponsible." Yeah. Completely irresponsible. Mm-hmm. I mean, because really, Aaron could sue. Would probably have a tougher case with free speech with the vegan guy, though he certainly have a case. But
Vegan Gains didn't say anything. I could sue Vegan Gains, but I wouldn't. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
You would have a better case with Sean Ray.
You're probably right. Yeah. Oh my God. So, and I blame Bleckman. Bleckman's behind the whole thing. Yeah, be controversial. It's so funny. You said it just the other week. The most popular threads on their freaking forums are about me. Every single one of them. There's not one thread on there that has any traction that doesn't involve me, RxMuscle, in some way, shape, or form. Isn't that amazing?
No, if your baby came out incredibly unhealthy today,
yeah, it's because of all the drugs he took.
No, Sean Ray would pop on there and say, "Well, it comes around, goes around."
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Blackman's you want to? So Boston Lloyd calls me up and he's because we're friends and he's like, Blackman wants my phone number. I said, what does he need? What does he want to ask you out on a date? He's like, I don't know. Ron Harris asked me for my phone number. Blackman wants to go. I swear, let's get me Boston Lloyd's number because I got to talk to him. Boston, it's Steve Blackman, the owner and editor-in-chief of Muscular Development. I don't know if you've heard of the magazine. Yeah, Steve, I've heard of it. I'm wondering, I'd like to get you to write a column and appear on the website. I think you could be the new Valentino of the modern era. Maybe we can get you a cover. Well, Steve, you only have 3 magazines a year now. Yeah, I know. I promised 5 covers already, but I owe those guys money anyway, so I'll just give you the cover. We need controversy
No,
over
give
here.
him. He can always give him like a MD Latino or something cover.
Right. Dave, but Steve, I'm very loyal to Dave. I'm not going to talk about Dave on there. Yeah, I'll pay you. Steve, I make more money than you make now. I don't need your money. That's it, Boston. Because Boston's brutally honest. He'll say like that. They'll get him on there. You'll see. Generation Iron paid him. I said, Boston, go on there. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Go. Spew off your stuff. Yeah. Blackman has got no originality anyway. He's just jealous that you come on my show and you talk on there and you get a lot of hits when you're on my show. So I thought it was funny. We'll make you a star. You'll be the new Valentino.
Of the modern era.
Yeah.
The modern era.
Yeah, the modern era.
Keywords.
Yeah. So it's coming up at the end of the year. Can you believe it already? I cannot believe it. It's nuts.
They just released the Arnold list.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Right around the corner.
Do you know that we're approaching? I guess in February we'll be at 9 years. RxMuscle. It's crazy. It's almost a decade. We've been the dominant bodybuilding and news agency for almost a decade. It's crazy.
You'll have to have a 10th year anniversary.
Yeah.
10th year celebration.
Yeah, we will next year. We'll do it. When Romano and I left that MD, and that was the demise of the magazine. Let's talk about this Arnold Classic. Might be one of the deepest lineups we've seen in recent years, Chris. I don't know why they got such a good lineup this year, but they, sometimes it's just luck. All the people line up at the right time. I think that I did a video on, kind of talking about the lineup, but the bottom line is that Dexter Jackson is coming back to the Arnold. He's the most winning Arnold Classic USA champion of all time. He's won the show 5 times. I remember he eclipsed Flex Wheeler's record of 4 that no one ever thought anyone would break. And he's coming back for number 6, and he just might be good enough to do it. What do you think?
He'll have to be at his all-time best.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tremendous. He's tremendous.
He's the most consistent guy in the lineup. Let's give him that accolade right there. He's also the only Mr. Olympia.
True. I mean, that's a lot of things. Most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Most Arnold wins.
Yeah.
Most IFBB wins.
Yep.
Mr. Olympia. Kind of.
He won every show. I don't think there's a show
Kind of a good
he's not
resume.
won. Yeah. He must have like a little checklist, like because at this point he's like, all right, what haven't I won?
Yeah, I thought you could say he must have a little checkbook. I would say so after winning all those shows.
He's got a nice checkbook. So he's got to be spearheading that lineup. Obviously, one of the favorites. The highest placing Olympia competitor from this past year is William Bonac in the lineup, who's never won an Arnold. This could be his year. He's beaten everyone in the lineup.
Yeah, he has.
So,
very dangerous,
including Dexter. So
yep.
I think that he's probably riding the most momentum, even though Cedric doesn't believe in momentum, of anyone else in the lineup.
No,
and he might be the guy to beat. But of course, you got. I call him Mr. Arnold Classic because Cedric McMillan cannot peak for an Olympia for his life, but man, can this guy bring it to the Arnold Classic? And he's obviously the defending reigning champion from this past year. He's obviously coming back to win it again. He's not coming back to lose. He seems to be able to get himself in shape in the beginning of the year. It's the end of the year he's got the problem with, although he ended the year with the San Marino Pro victory. And he might have looked better than... I don't know. I wouldn't say he looked better than he did at the Arnold. He beat a weaker lineup, of course, but he was in shape. Let's put it that way. Is that a detraction for Cedric, or is that a good thing for Cedric since he doesn't believe in momentum?
I don't think he believes in anything other than putting it on the line. And I mean, he's proven 5 straight Arnolds that he's capable of each and all of those. He could have won them all.
Right.
Nobody would have.
Well, this would be the lineup to prove yourself. If he could win this in this lineup with Bonac, Sean Roden, Dexter Jackson, Ruli Winkler, the return of Dennis Wolf. If he could win this, I mean, really, he's one spot away from the Olympia, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because the only guy he wouldn't have
big
beaten
show.
would be.
It's a big show for everybody.
Would be
It's a big
Philly.
show for everybody. This is a monumental show for all the names you just mentioned.
Now, do you think that Big Ramy has decided to sit this one out for any particular reason? Is he thinking, I'm just going to worry about the Olympia? I want to win the Mr. Olympia, because he hasn't won the Arnold Classic, not the USA one at least.
Yeah. Why do I think he's sitting it out?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I think it's a mistake to sit it out.
I do too.
I think it's a monumental mistake because had he won it, had he come into the show and let's just say he did win it, there's momentum, whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah, especially in this lineup.
Of all the people who can garner momentum, it'd only be probably two people that would be hyped up. There's only two people who'll be hyped up by people in the know, or people with strong opinions who have a good eye, and fans and judges. There's only two people who would be hyped up to beat Phil, and that would be Kai winning an Arnold this year,
True.
or Remy winning the Arnold, and either one of them winning the Arnold against any lineup puts Phil in trouble.
Mm.
Even though Phil is capable of beating them both, of course, because he always has, but still, it just gives the perception of, wow, here comes Kai, on the comeback, or here comes Ramy off a fresh win at the Arnold. So I think it's a big mistake.
Why wouldn't? Yeah, I'm thinking about Kai Green. I know Kai doesn't want to do the Olympia for whatever reasons he's got against the Olympia.
Kai
people.
Green's not going to. Jay said Jay said it. I think. A couple of years ago, said you're not going to see this guy compete again. I mean, maybe Jay knows something that we don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't think he does. I don't think like Kai told him. I just think Jay's a great read of people, and figured out that this guy still trains and still looks like an Olympian. He just get a vibe from Kai that Kai's not willing to put it all on the line for a big show or any show, not because he can't win one, but just because I think that he's at a different, he looks at bodybuilding differently than he did maybe 5 years ago.
Or that close call with Cedric made him realize that he's vulnerable to these guys.
Well,
and that maybe he might not win.
Cedric won't tell people that, but I know Cedric feels that that was yeah. I mean, when you do these shows, you want to win them.
Well, Cedric won the show. Kai won the posing round. And that's how we won. So we know that. So Kai knows that Cedric theoretically beat him on paper. So maybe it's too close to. Maybe it's only going to figure Kai is leaving the sport with a legacy. Maybe he wants to leave on a high note. Why do the Arnold Classic and come in third?
Well, you know what, his legacy's complete. Competitive wise,
no, not really. I mean, I know he wanted to win the Olympia.
He forget the Olympia, dude. It's not even. Does he?
I'm sure he wanted to, but will they?
I mean, that's why I said does he. Yeah. I didn't ask did he, because of course he wanted to, but I think he's over it and done with. And I mean, what's the point of coming into a show? Probably in his perspective, why? What do I have to gain by winning? Hi, I just won the Arnold, Brazil or Arnold, Ohio.
Yeah. I guess it would only matter to him if he was still missing this. If he was missing competing, if he felt like I wanted to do one more show. So let's stick to this lineup. Obviously, Kai and Ramy not in this lineup, although it would be a great show if it was. We got Bonac, we got Dexter Jackson. These are guys, Sean Roden. These are guys around the same size that can kind of really match up. Even though some guys are shorter, some guys are tall. We're talking about guys that are in the same realm. Then you got Dennis Wolf and you got Cedric McMillan, who are over 6 foot, bigger, structured guys. How do they stack up against this lineup. We don't know what Wolf looks like. Obviously, he's had neck surgery. He was out of the game
I
for
don't
2-3
think
years.
I don't think Wolf's coming back.
You don't think he's going to be a factor?
You know, I thought of it this way. It's, you know what, it just a lot of, you know, it's hard. There hasn't been anyone who's proven that they can do a good comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't, especially a big guy with a lot of muscle. There hasn't been anyone, even like, you know, just came to my mind is even DJ, when he came back and did like a Masters, when they were giving out like tons of money at the Masters Olympia.
Right.
You know, when he came back, he was like big, but not blown out big. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
right.
and he was walking around gigantic for like 8 years. And then he took like 2 years off or 2.5 years off and then started training again for the Masters Olympia and just, you know, didn't look like the crazy round DJ that he used to look like. So it's hard, you know, once you've lost the mass and try to re-put it back on, it's just hard to do it. It's almost like, you know, if you had a shoe store and it burnt down and, you know, you lost your livelihood because your one store got burnt down, it'd probably be easy to come back and rebuild that store and get back in business. But if you have like a mall with like 500 stores, you know, and that 300 stores and it burns down, it just takes so much monumental effort to bring it all back, to get it back up and running.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's an analogy that, you know, to me at least makes sense with, you know, somebody like Dennis Wolf, you know, because he had injuries too. It's not like he rested and said, oh, you know, I'm just taking off and doing a couple other things and I'm coming back and hitting the gym hard. Injuries. And anyone who's ever had injuries knows there's that vulnerability when you're training of, you know, unless you have a nut job, which is, you know, beneficial, you try to work around injuries. A lot of times when you work around injuries, yeah, you can work around injuries. But that really means I can't train as hard as I need to.
Right. No, you're right. We'll have to see what he looks like. What do you think? So what do you think of the guys we mentioned? Let's also throw Ruli Winkler in there, obviously, who's a super freak of freaks.
Super freak.
And I mean, so let's. I got Lionel Baiki too, but I don't think we never see the best of him. Let's talk Bonac, Dexter, Cedric, Roden, who's obviously Roden's been second, third in the world for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Ruli Winkler, Wolf, who you don't think will be a factor. Of those guys I mentioned, who is the most potent? Obviously, Bonac's the highest placing Olympian. Is he the guy to beat, or is it Sean Roden?
No, Cedric's the guy to beat.
Really? Okay.
I think the politics, which have always, not the politics, I don't mean like politics. I think the judging panel, let me take that back, which has always given Cedric a tough time at the Arnold. Meaning, every Arnold we've been to, every Arnold goes back to, you know, those with a critical eye and fans and lots of people said after prejudging, oh, you know, I think Cedric's got this show. Almost every 5 straight Arnolds. And it's like the call out that killed them. Like, you know, first call out on the end. First call out, they moved him up and, you know, by the end of the show, he's in the middle, with the exception of, let's say, last year. So I think because he's won it last year, you know, and that he's gonna have favorable call-outs.
All right.
And I think he needs favorable call-outs to be able to be the guy in the show that catches the attention of the judges. And I'll give you it this way, because prejudgings are judged retroactively. In other words, if Dexter looks fabulous, let's say if Dexter is in the middle the whole entire time, everyone's going to say Dexter wins.
Yeah.
Because he's in the middle the whole entire time, regardless of what he looks like. I mean, of course he's got to look, quote, good enough to be, let's say, to win.
In the middle.
Yeah, in the middle. But let's say Dexter looks like he's like the top 3 guy, but he's in the middle the whole time. What I mean by a prejudging is judged retroactively is you ask people after prejudging, they say, oh, Dexter by a mile. Yeah, Bonac is in the middle the whole time. And he looks like he's, you know, could be first or could be second or third. Or a few people might think he's fourth. Because he's in the middle, by definition of being in the middle the whole time, he ends up, you know, with this bias that people say, oh, he looks the all-time best. So if Cedric, by virtue of having won last year, hangs in the middle, I'm just saying, if that is the case, people probably have Cedric as the winner. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, we'll see. Let's see where they put him. It's going to be a great lineup, obviously.
That isn't a case of like a close show. Obviously, if somebody's just an outstanding and they're not in the middle, you could still say like.
I think it could be a Bonac, Roden, Dexter. Top three.
It could go. It's you got to see that.
Cedric's either going to be awesome or he's going to be horrendous.
He's always been awesome at the Arnold. That's the point.
Yeah, I know that. I hope he brings it. I really do. And I think that Rulli Winkler is a wild card in this whole lineup because people don't think of him as like the guy who wins, but he's a crazy monster lately. I mean, this guy's got more mass. Might not have the best shape, but what a crazy amount of muscle he's got and conditioning he's been bringing. I see Hide Yamagishi is going back into the open. I heard he's working with Milos again.
Yeah, it's.
What did Milos say to him? Probably about the 212.
You got to come in fill out the glycogen stores to get the phosphagen sensitized.
Well, he's probably told him he's going to put 30 pounds on him in a month, right?
Yeah. He will. I mean, the sick thing is
he put 40 on NASA, right? So
here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen is Yamagishi will look tremendous for Yamagishi. I mean, he's not going to look tremendous next to Dexter,
right?
And let's say Rolly and who knows Roden. But the point is, he is absolutely going to look better, and we're all going to say, what a mistake. He should have done the 212, but he's not going to be 212. He's going to be like 219 or 221.
220, yeah.
And so people could be like, oh, what a dummy. Not dummy, but they're going to say, he should have done 212. The answer is he's probably not going to be 212.
No, exactly.
Because he weighs in, he does weigh in close to the 212, and he's been in the open, and I've seen him full. The fact of the matter is I don't know if he was younger, but when Milos did work with him, he was full.
Insulin. Got to use the insulin. Milos and his insulin. We'll get Milos back on the show. Milos will give us the whole scoop on the Hide and how much. He'll tell us exactly what's going on, which will be great. Great TV. To hear that. I like Hide's
together. Get Hide and
maybe we'll get them both on. Yeah, but Milos likes to talk. I'd rather get Milos on alone because then I'll feel like I'm not neglecting Hide. You know what I mean? I don't know who's harder to understand, Hide or Milos.
I was just thinking the same thing, but no,
but they're both great. They're both great guys. They're so passionate about the sport. You can't even you can't say anything bad about them. What about? I see that John De La Rosa, who doesn't need a coach anymore, is in the lineup as well, right? Didn't he just do a video about that? That he doesn't. Coaches are unnecessary, gurus.
Yeah, they're extremely necessary if you have a good coach.
Yeah.
He'll how's he going to do in the show?
Yeah.
It's a deep lineup. He's capable. He's extremely capable, of doing well.
This is the top Olympia.
That's the
problem with him.
Yeah. I mean, therein lies the issue. It's a crazy deep lineup.
If I'm a competitor and I'm looking at this lineup, I know everyone thinks that they can win every show they do. I'm almost thinking maybe I should get out of this thing. Maybe I should do another show. Because it's kind of like last year's Arnold was the top two were good, but not after that it was like so. Now you see this lineup; it's like stacked to the hilt.
Yeah, it is a stacked lineup.
I see that, what's his name's in this lineup? Luis Rodriguez, who placed fourth at the New York Pro last year. We were very impressed with him. It was his pro debut. This guy even got better as the year went on. I think he could be a wild card in this lineup. I really do.
Yeah, he's very good.
Watch out. I'm putting it on there. I'm putting it on the record. Yeah. He's dangerous.
No, he's dangerous. It's just, is he going to, you got Rolly in the show.
Well, I don't care. I'm telling you, he's dangerous. You mark my word. I'm putting him on my dark horse list.
All right. Well, you predicted your daughter would be, land right in on the 21st.
Let's talk about the 212 for a second. I don't know if it's going to come about because I see this Hadi Chupin is in the lineup now.
Ain't gonna happen, dude.
You don't think he's going to get a visa to get over here?
No. What do you? They're gonna. How's he gonna get an exception?
Maybe he'll get married to someone here in the United States. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
Nowadays, you can go on
you get
Facebook and
married-
you can find a wife.
I'm married. Yeah, but the paperwork's
I'm just kidding. I think he's got a wife in Iran. So I don't know. It's as an athlete, you should be able to petition for an athletic visa, don't you think?
Well, aren't sports supposed to be the bridge? Isn't that kind of?
I always thought that they used to let the people from the Soviet Union over here back in the day, and they used to defect. So why can't we? Why can't we get some right?
He might defect and go to to Gold's Venice with Ed Con.
Maybe Ed could sponsor him. Get him over here.
You did see they banned like the entire Russian. What did they ban the Russians?
Yeah, what they did was you're not allowed. The Russians can still compete, but not for the Russian team. They're competing as independents. That's how they're punishing them because they don't want to punish the athletes. They want to punish Russia. So in other words, you're not going to win for Russia. You're winning for yourself.
Let Chopi come representing himself and not Iran.
That's right. Yeah, what would Trump do if we had the Olympics here in the United States? And would he not let any of these Middle Eastern countries or anyone for that matter? No one could come here. I don't think we could ever hold an Olympics here again, right? Because no one's allowed in.
Who knows?
Anyway, so Hadi Chupin is in the lineup if he makes it. David Henry is in the lineup. Charles Dixon, Guy Cisternino, Kyungwon Kang, Sammy Trody. Are you working with him again?
No, I'm working with Kamal El-Gagni, who's in the show.
Oh, right. You said he's a late add-on.
Yeah.
And Jose Raymond, of course.
Yeah.
I have Jose as my favorite in this lineup. I don't think that Hadi's going to make it over here. Do you think that this is Jose's show to lose?
Yeah, I think it's Jose's show to lose. Seeing that
Ashkenani's not in the lineup.
No, seeing that Yamagishi is in the open.
Sure, that's true. Why do you think that what's his name? Ahmed Ashkenani didn't make it over into this lineup here.
To defend his title that he, I don't know.
You would think, I guess, Bader has number 2 and 2, right? He showed me 2 silver medals at the Olympia.
Yeah.
He's got the number 2 guy.
Maybe he told you Rami's not mentally ready, according to him.
Right. Well, maybe he's holding those 2 guys back for the Olympia because he thinks they're going to win this year. He said next year, no bullshit, he's going to win.
Yeah. Who? Yamagishi? I mean, Ashkenani?
Yeah.
Well, he ain't gonna win, dude. Period. You can
no
quote
bullshit.
Me on that.
No bullshit, Chris.
You can quote me as a Grim Reaper on that. It's not gonna happen.
Oh my god, you're funny.
And then the classic has like 95 people in it.
I think what they're doing, they gave the first 50 people who applied the ability to do the show, and then what they're doing is whoever makes only the top 10 will make the finals, and they will reimburse, from what I understand, the top 10 guys will get like $1,500 voucher or something like that towards their expenses, which probably won't cover it all, but it'll become close. So that's a decent, I guess, deal. So at least the guys who make the top 10 get their stuff. It's still demeaning. It's like Brad Pitt having to go to an audition, for a movie. At this point, Brad Pitt is a star. He should just get invited to do the movie, right?
Well, you know what's so funny, Dave? The reason I defend their attracting, we're going to let 50 guys do the classic.
Yeah.
Because, you know what? We can break down to some degree. Well, first we can break down, of course, the open because.
Do you think everyone gets a fair shake with 50 guys on stage?
You know what?
No way.
But we still don't. People don't know who the crazy stars.
But that's always been the Arnold. The Arnold invites who they think are the stars.
In the 212, because listen, even in the Classic Olympia, the guys who got 13th could have mixed it all the way up to 6th. So you could have taken 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, switched them around. You could have switched 9th, 10th, 11th, and switched them around. So there was a lot of depth. There's a lot of different.
So you invite 12 people, and you got yourself covered.
Well, which 12 are you going to invite?
You invite the first 12 who've placed top 12 at the Olympia, and if those guys don't want to come, then you invite a couple other guys that you know.
I like how they have a ton of people. Even though some people get screwed and overlooked just by definition,
I
that's what's
don't,
going to happen.
I don't enjoy. You know what? They don't even let them all pose at the prejudging. They just line them up and they say, "Okay, let's do call-outs." I mean, come on, how could you judge it?
Well,
It's
that's
impossible.
because they have the bikinis and the
Because it's too great. It takes too long. I look. I don't want them to I don't want all 50 guys posing either. But I'm just saying, if you can't, how about this, Chris? How about you invite 20 people? The top 10 make the finals. Why do you have to invite 50 people?
I don't know, because they wanted to grow.
How about you send your pictures in? Let the people look at. Let the selection committee look at who's being actually.
The selection committee. Who is the selection committee?
Blackman. I don't know. He's on the who knows who's on the selection committee anymore? I don't know. Probably Sean Ray's on the selection committee. He's all over every place. He's like horse shit. It's everywhere. It's always getting unstuck on the bottom of your foot. Anyway, I was going to do an end of the year show because this is technically the end of the year, but I decided that next week we'll do the end of the year show because, even though the show is on the 1st of January, nothing has happened in the new year yet to talk about. So we still could talk about 1917. We could still talk about 2017 about what's going on. I had stuff to talk about. If the Arnold list wasn't released, I would have done an end of the year show. But no one else has a show every week anyway.
I'll make a big list. I'll do a big list on year end.
Yeah.
Big things. What is it? The big things that happened in 2000 year end review.
There was so many things I can't remember anymore.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Maybe one of our. You know what? We have a lot of great, very, very loyal, diehard listeners out there of the show. If you guys want to email me and/or Chris your top 10 stories of the year, I would be more than grateful because you'll save me a lot of freaking work. Because even if everyone doesn't get all the right ones, I'll get 10 or 20 of people giving me their top 10 lists, and I can just combine the everything that people agree on. I just need to be reminded of the stories because so much happened. So many people died, and so many crazy things, nutty things happened over this course of the year that I can't remember them all. I should write them down as they happen. Like I should have my special end of the year list. I should start at January 1st.
That's what I said. This week I'll make,
yeah.
I'll think through and of things that happened during the year, and you the best thing that you just did is invite people to send you a list of things that should be covered because you can't cover everything. I mean, you're not going to remember all the things.
No, I need help now. I'm getting old. Now, we will have an iron debate this coming week, an end of the year iron debate with you, me. You better make sure your wife gives you one day off to do this thing.
You can't give it to me. You can't drop it on me like
I'm telling you right now.
What are you doing at 4 o'clock? What day?
Wednesday. Let's do it Wednesday. Wednesday we'll do iron debate. You, me, John Romano, and then we'll pick someone else. We'll see. I'll have to. I need someone who's actually kept up on what's going on. I might get Kamali. Maybe I'll get Kamali and Lee Priest.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. They've been. I get Lee Priest back. Well, Lee thinks you're a dick, Steve. Sorry, he doesn't want to do anything with you. We'll get Boston Lloyd. Boston's going to come on the show. He's going to drive down, and I'm going to interview him. We're going to get him on one of the iron debates in the new year.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot to say. His wife, Ariella Palumbo, no relation to me, as people may or may not know.
That's wait, hold. Let me back up. She's not related to you, and your daughter's name is Aria.
Aria. It's very close. I like the name. I don't like Ariella as much because it's too long. I like Aria. But it's pretty funny because everyone always thought that Ariel, I should say, is my daughter. She's not, but now I have a daughter named Aria, which will really confuse people.
What's the hotel that Jay loves in Vegas? The Aria?
Yeah, the Aria, right. Exactly.
I think he owns a piece of it. I'm serious.
He does?
I don't know.
Like 0.5%?
Well, I don't know. 0.5% of $1 billion is what? I can't calculate.
It's a lot of money. So our Ariella is, which is Boston Lloyd's wife, is pregnant now too with a boy. So Boston's going to be a dad, and I want to talk to him about becoming. I got to get him on the show. It's got to be like a very almost like a psychology session with him because I got to sit him down and I have to I want to know what's going on in his life. First of all, I want to hear about what he thinks about all the. He's having a nervous breakdown about the death cycle that I put up, that's been circulating around that I made comments on. I don't know if did you see the video I did about the death cycle?
Was it something that he used in the 5th grade?
No, he was because he hasn't used that much, so he was like he's intrigued by the whole thing. So I got to get him on the because I have to like get him on the air.
You need his analysis, like Wide World of Sports.
Well, I got to make sure he doesn't do it because I want him to be around, for his child's, the whole life. I don't want him to just lose his mind and kill himself. Vegan Gains, according to Vegan Gains, he should be dead already. By what he's been doing. Because Vegan Gains, it's all steroids. So if steroids, reliably kill people, who take massive dosages, then Boston should be dead 3 times over already.
Yeah.
But he's not because it doesn't. So that's just the bottom line. That's one of my pieces of research I'm going to be presenting when I debate him. By the way, it's funny. Vegan Gains, whose name is, I can't remember his name now. This is probably the problem. Vegan Gains' his real name. I feel like I'm announcing something that no one knows. It's like Richard Burgess or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So I get this email from Richard Burgess, and it says, "When are we going to do this debate?" Oh, I know. He says I have time to do the debate next week or something like that. I'm like, who the fuck is this? That's all they said to me. No, didn't sign a Vegan Gains. You think I know what this guy's name is? How would I know what this guy's name is? Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck the guy's name was. So I had to say, who is this?
What did he say? I'm Vegan Gains?
No, he didn't say it. He's like, I thought we're debating on Dallas McCarver's death. So then I figured it out, obviously.
You say I'm debating.
I'm debating Vegan Gains. I don't know who you are. Yeah. I don't know who this Richard Burgess is.
Yeah.
I thought Richard Burgess was like one of these photographers that thought I owed him money or something like that. And was going to debate me on the air about it. Not that I owe anyone money, but you never know. There's always these photographers that out of their freaking mind. A lot of them, they're cuckoo birds.
They did, yeah.
One guy, he tried to invoice me from 3 years ago for a show. I said, "You think I remember if I paid you 3 years ago?"
Yeah.
I said, and if I didn't, you think I'm going to pay you now?
Yeah, 3 years later.
Are you out of your mind? You guys are nuts. So I figured it was someone like that. I'm like debating me about what? About Dallas's death. Dallas died of a heart attack because he had a family predisposition, okay? And on top of that, he was too heavy, he ate too much food, and he took too many steroids. That's what killed him. I agree. I agree. But steroids didn't kill him alone. Sorry. That's just not the case.
Well, you can get the Grim Reaper, Sean Ray.
Yeah, maybe Sean Ray can team up.
Burgess.
Let's get a tag team. It could be me
with Richard Burgess.
Yeah, Sean and Burgess versus Romano and me. How about that?
Yeah.
For the Iron Debate. That's what I'll do. That might be exciting.
Yeah, it'd be a great show.
Just to get Sean Ray on, that would be exciting.
Yeah.
Then I'd have to get you on there too because you have an axe to grind.
No, I don't care. It's hard to get me to care. It sounds very cynical, very self-centered.
I know.
But it's not that. I just don't really care.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, that's enough.
All right, so next week we'll do the,
So next week is going to be the year-end wrap-up. Guys, send me a huge 285 at AOL.com or Aceto at RxMuscle.com. Send us your top 10 stories of the year that you think deserve to make the show. We will take them into consideration, and we'll do a great show. Maybe we'll even do maybe we'll pre-tape it. Maybe we'll do I don't like to pre-tape. You never know what can happen. I always like to do these shows at the last minute. If I pre-tape the show and do a TV show, then someone will fucking Craig Titus will break out of jail or something like that the January 1st or something like that, and then I'll miss the story. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chris, I know you're down here in Florida. I hope you and your family have a great Christmas and very relaxing. I know you don't celebrate Christmas, but you celebrate the season. So have a very relaxing day. And if you're bored, drive over to Cape Coral. We'll be doing nothing all day pretty much.
Sounds like a game.
You came last year. You were here, right, on Christmas?
Yeah, no, my wife said that should we go to Dave's? I said, well, just had the baby, and and
you talk it over with the wife. I better talk it over with my wife because before I start volunteering, she's the one recovering from.
No, because you know what we'll do. You and I would do. This is exactly how marriage works. We would think, wow, what a great idea! And you say, honey, Chris and his family are coming. She'd have a.
Yeah, she's like, I'm trying to recover from surgery.
Yeah,
giving birth.
Or, you guys would like independently, you and your wife together would say, tell Chris to bring his family, and like I'd tell my wife like last minute, and
like the day of it, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, we're not driving out there in all the traffic. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, with 3 kids, and they gotta have food, and this,
right.
and
I think you came New Year's though. Was it New Year's you came last year?
I think
I think it was New Year's. Yeah,
well,
it wasn't
What?
Christmas.
I'll speak to it, because maybe we can ring in the new year.
Yeah, that might be fun.
And it could become part of like a tradition.
That's true, and we could do the show in the studio live.
I thought you were gonna say we could do it at the I thought you were gonna say we could do it live from the restaurant.
Oh, from the Golden Corral. Live from the Golden Corral. This is the Chris and Dave show. New Year's Eve special. Be like Dick Clark,
It's pretty sad that last year, I don't even know if that's the right word, sad. It was just interesting that at the Golden Corral, the average age was like 84.
Yeah,
and it was.
And your kids were there, and they brought down the average from 90.
But people with all the gray hair and canes were like nodding to you, which means they acknowledge that you go there every day, because they go out there.
Oh yeah, I get the nods from them all. They know me. They know I got to have the baked fish ready for me when I get there. Yeah. Golden Corral is hit or miss. If you're into desserts, you can't go wrong there. Now that my wife isn't pregnant anymore, she doesn't have to worry about the gestational diabetes. She'll be back at the dessert bar, believe me.
Yeah.
She likes the desserts. Me, I'm happy to get some corn, peas, and succotash. That's all I want.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, enjoy the holiday weekend. I will try to relax as well. And guys, we will see you next week for the end of the year show. Don't forget to submit your top 10 lists. That brings us to the end of the hour. Remember, guys, once again, for almost 9 years going with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
See you next week.